What if the reason your manifestation isn't working has nothing to do with belief, or positivity, or hidden blocks? That's a possibility most people never consider, yet it explains a lot of manifestation frustration. You put in the effort, you try to change your thinking, you stay focused. Weeks pass, sometimes months, sometimes years, and eventually a question appears. Is any of this actually working? The answer may be yes, but not for the reason you think. One of the least discussed problems is how people measure progress. Most people only count completed outcomes. They don't count developing outcomes. Imagine you want a new relationship. A conversation happens that never would have happened before. You ignore it. You become more comfortable meeting people. You ignore that too. An unexpected introduction appears. Still not the relationship, so it doesn't count. Many people only recognize progress after the outcome arrives. Until then, everything gets dismissed. The strange part is that manifestations often look ordinary while they're unfolding. Only later do the connections become obvious. This creates what could be called a false negative. A process gets mistaken for a failure. Not because it failed, because it isn't finished. There's another reason manifestation feels ineffective. People often become attached to a specific route. Let's say you want more money. A useful skill develops. A new contact appears. A better opportunity shows up. None of those things match the exact picture in your mind, so they get overlooked. The issue isn't necessarily the goal. The issue is the script. Many people decide in advance how progress should look. Then they reject anything that arrives differently. Sometimes the frustration isn't caused by a lack of movement. It's caused by a lack of recognition. There's another pattern worth understanding. Identity lag. This happens when your goals change faster than your self-image. You decide you want something different. A different career, a better relationship, greater financial freedom. Your conscious mind moves first. Your automatic patterns move later. For a period of time, both versions of you exist together. One version is moving forward. The other is still operating from old expectations. That period can feel frustrating. It can feel stagnant. It can even feel like proof that nothing is changing. But sometimes the opposite is true. The foundation is changing first. The visible result comes later. Another overlooked issue is the evidence trap. Many people say they'll believe manifestation is working once they see evidence. That sounds reasonable, but watch what often happens. Evidence appears. Then the standard changes. You want one new client. The client arrives. Now you want 5. 5 arrive. Now you want 10. You wanted a date. Now you want commitment. You wanted a promotion. Now you want a larger one. The finish line keeps moving. Success gets reclassified. Progress becomes invisible, not because it isn't there, because it no longer feels sufficient. There's another pattern that deserves more attention. People become fascinated by signs. At first, signs feel encouraging. They create hope. They create momentum. But eventually the focus shifts. The goal becomes finding signs, not creating results. Repeated numbers, coincidences, small indicators. People begin measuring progress by how much confirmation they can find. Meanwhile, they overlook real-world changes. The search for evidence becomes more exciting than the outcome itself, and that creates a strange trap. The closer attention moves toward signs, the further attention moves from actual movement. Here's another question worth asking. Have you become more interested in proving manifestation works than getting the result? That happens more often than people realize. Some people spend years analyzing every thought, every emotion, every possible block, every possible meaning. Eventually, the focus changes. The goal is no longer the relationship, or the business, or the opportunity. The goal becomes solving manifestation itself. At that point, evaluation replaces progress. Analysis replaces movement. And frustration becomes inevitable. There's one final pattern to consider. When something unwanted happens, people often assign meaning immediately. They see evidence, a warning, a sign. But when something helpful happens, they often call it luck or coincidence. Notice the difference. Negative outcomes become meaningful. Positive outcomes become accidental. That creates a hidden bias. Without realizing it, people start collecting evidence against themselves. Not because reality supports that conclusion, because they're judging the evidence unevenly. So why is your manifestation not working? Maybe that's the wrong question. A better question might be this. Are you overlooking progress because it doesn't look finished yet? Are you demanding a specific route? Are you measuring signs instead of movement? Are you moving the finish line? Are you judging setbacks and successes differently? Those questions often reveal more than another technique, and they often reveal more than another affirmation. If this topic raised more questions than answers, the next step may not be learning another manifestation method. If you're still wondering whether you're missing something, there's an article linked below that explores 4 overlooked patterns behind manifestation frustration. One of those patterns may explain why progress feels invisible, even when something is already changing. There's a good chance you'll recognize at least one of those patterns in your own experience.